Hi everyone, and welcome to my second podcast. And this podcast, the subject that we thought we'd call it is something called Invest in Yourself. And that's something that I think we don't really do very often. Other people might call it self-care. What do you do for you? How do you fill your cup up? That kind of thing. So it's all about investing in ourselves. So why this topic? So in the last podcast, we talked about knowing your baseline, understanding who you are at your normal levels, and how our hormones can sometimes impact that. And we also talked about exercise. I'd like to probably change that word and maybe call it movement, because sometimes exercise you might be thinking, it's going for that run, it's making you out of breath, it has to be hard, and it doesn't really need to be hard. It's just all about movement, and I think movement is a really important factor, because what movement helps with a hormone called endorphins, and other people might call that call it the happy hormone. And it really helps us regulate our mood naturally. It helps us get focused. It helps us keep emotionally stable. And it helps us just be happier and calmer. And I mean, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that in their life? And the reason why I'm talking about movement is my second podcast, because it was a catalyst for me. Movement really helped me when I went through probably one of the most difficult times of my life. And that's when I met Sarah. So I've been happily married for about 6-7 years. When I got married, I was at my game weight, you know what I mean? I looked amazing, just want to say. And then you get happily married, and I stopped exercising because we was going out for food, we was drinking wine, we were just happy as can be. And then one day, 6 years later, you look at yourself and you go, what happened? I was probably 4-6 sizes bigger than what I was. And I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I didn't like how I felt. Although my husband, he didn't say anything. He thought, no, I love you just as you are. And I realised that I had to do something for me. It's about time that I wasn't happy with how I felt and what I looked like. So that's when I thought, right, I need to do something different. And I started looking into getting a personal trainer. Now, some people might say, personal trainer, that's a lot of money. But I'd tried everything else. I'd paid for gym memberships and they've not worked. And I really wanted to invest in myself. And I chose, well, if I work with a personal trainer, that'll help give me some accountability. So I thought, well, how do you find one? And I was just searching on social media, and I found a lady called Sarah J Brennan. And this is the lady who's talking with me today. And I don't know how you make decisions, but I thought, Sarah Jane, my name's Susan Jane, meant to be. I know it sounds a bit silly, but sometimes when you don't know what you want, I make decisions like that, same middle name, meant to be. And Sarah's been really significant in helping me through my journey the last 2 years, because the day I was supposed to start exercising with Sarah was the day that I found out my husband had a serious accident. And that day changed my life forever. And for the first time ever, I used exercise as a means of, I think, as an emotional prop. So the first time ever, exercise was always getting into that bikini, for that holiday, for that 6 weeks. Why do you always leave it? You've known you're booking a holiday for 12 months, and then that last 6 weeks, I don't know how a personal trainer can help you undo 12 years of eating in 6 weeks, but hey. So the first time ever, exercise to me was something I clung on to while I was going through probably the worst times of my life after my husband passing away. And that was 2 years ago now. I think it's Sarah, isn't it? 2 years in April. And Sarah's been my personal trainer in all this time. And you know what? We started small. We started 1 day a week, and that killed me. And then we moved up to twice a week and 3 times a week, because the more I could, I was just the more I invested in myself, the better I felt. And I don't think I'll ever not have a personal trainer now. And also with Sarah and her style, I also got 2 for 1. Sarah was just she was my therapist as well at the same time. Somewhere to go where I could talk through, everything that I was going through. And Sarah just, exercised my body. I didn't have to think. So I'm bringing this to you today because sharing my story might help you with your story. So that's me. This is a topic today. That's how we met. So Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Absolutely. Fantastic to listen to you speak like that. So yeah, I'm Sarah J Brennan. I'm a personal trainer and fitness instructor. Have been in the industry for over 20 years. The last 5 of those I've had my own gym. It's been an incredible journey for me. I was always into fitness, whether that was my kids playing football or gymnastics, attending exercise classes myself. It's very important, and I think, as Sue touched on, it is a really good all-round type of subject, if you like. It isn't just about completely flogging yourself to death in the gym. It is part of that emotional journey as well. And in my view, I take the approach with all of my clients that it's about a lifestyle change, and that lifestyle includes the mental aspect as well. So more recently, I've taken on a couple of voluntary roles, one with an organisation called Shout, which is a crisis helpline, and even more recently taken my mental health first aid, because what I was finding with the people that I was dealing with was that when somebody engages with a personal trainer, it is an investment in themselves, a complete investment in themselves financially, but also everything else that comes with that. And their mind is the biggest barrier to everything that they do. So if you haven't got your mind in the right place, nothing else is going to gel for you. So it is the complete picture that we try and achieve. And working with Sue has been an incredible journey on that basis, and has led us to where we are now. And my mantra, if you like, from everything that I've invested in myself, everything I do in my own life, and everything I translate to my clients is, why wouldn't you want to feel the best version of you?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And this is why we're talking about it, because we're moving less now, more than ever.
Absolutely.
Even though we're still working together 3 days a week, I'm still putting weight on. But by talking with you, it's okay, because we go through changes in our life. We're not, if change or weight loss or anything you want to be was a straight line, easy thing, we'd all be doing it, wouldn't we?
Absolutely, you would. And like you just touched on, the world has changed in the last 12 months. So a lot of people are working from home. We're certainly not going out and socialising as much as we were. So just the simple steps, if you like, in a day just aren't there. You're probably moving from your bedroom to your office to the fridge and back again, and staying within the confines of your own walls, which also has a negative impact on your mental health as well. So in terms of what you touched on in your intro, typically people would come to us because they've got a holiday, or they're getting married, or a sort of once in a lifetime event, whereas now it's more about survival. And it's the small changes that you can do to help that process along.
And we're going through another change again, after that announcement of Boris saying we've got a plan now to come out the other side. It's still change, isn't it? Because we've had to just exist, find a new normal, and the change is coming. And is it light at the end of the tunnel, or is it another train? We don't know.
It's interesting. It's interesting you say that, because I think there was so much positivity around his initial announcement that everybody felt they were going to get their life back. And what I've been seeing and hearing from people I've been engaging with over the last week or so is actually a little bit of fear of what that might mean, and also looking at aspects of their life and things that they might want to change for good, and some things they might never go back to doing. The whole industry that I'm within has gone through some significant changes, and I think what we're doing now and the way that we have been doing our exercise has opened up the virtual world for a lot of things that are positive, but it is a definite change to the way in which we run business and the way in which we communicate. So it is adapting to survive.
Yeah, definitely. And this is why I like to, this personality profiling was something that helped me while I was going through my journey of losing my husband, you know, the grieving, and then eventually grieving does turn to healing. You know, you don't always stay in that state. And then eventually I started to look forward to my future again, you know, feeling like I had a future. And I started, I did some personality profiling as part of my development. And that's when I discovered this personality profiling. And wow, that has just completely changed my life. It was a game changer because it really helped me to understand myself, what I'm good at, what I enjoy, what my drivers are, what are my motivators, what I'm drawn towards, what I actually don't like doing. So when I use this in my everyday life now, I'm always talking about it to you. I can apply it to my home life, my work life, my personal life, even exercise. So when I look back over, I've always exercised and I've probably failed at most things because I'm always doing something that somebody else is doing. You know, well, why don't you try a triathlon? Why don't you do a 5K? Why don't you do a 10K? And I'm like, okay, because somebody else is doing it. I never really once thought, well, is it something that I would actually enjoy? Is it something that fits with me and my style? Like, because as soon as you understand yourself, you realize that exercise, there's all sorts of exercise, isn't there? There's those people who really love the challenge, need the competition, don't they? They need to beat someone or beat their best time.
They need a target.
Yeah. Or there's those people like me who it needs to be fun. And whatever I'm doing, I need to enjoy it. Now, before I found you, I've never stuck with exercise as long as 2 years, because what we had was a connection, because you made it more fun, enjoyable. You don't pressurize me. You don't make me feel guilty, because I've put all my food in my food app so you can watch what I'm doing. So, you know, when you say, have you eaten well soon? I go, yeah. And you're like,
yeah.
Just 10 bags of Doritos and 2 bottles of wine. But you never make me feel guilty. So I've got that connection with you, and that's what's made me stay with you. Whereas I've worked with other personal trainers, I've done boot camps, I've had people screaming at me, and I didn't enjoy it because I wasn't having fun. And one thing my husband always said to me, if you're having fun, keep doing it. If it's not fun, stop doing it, because it's only when we've said if you're enjoying something, it becomes natural, and you'll keep doing it. And there's other styles who need to exercise in a team. They need to be in a team, like a football or netball. You know, they don't enjoy exercising on their own. And there's those other people who want to always beat they're very specific. They always want to look at their technique. You know, if you're swimming, for example, you know, what's your swim stroke like? What's your technique like? Are you getting better at each length? And this personality profile, if I would have been introduced this 20 years ago, my life would have been full of so much less drama, less conflict, less misunderstanding, and I might have found the sport or the exercise or the movement that was perfect for my style sooner.
So, you know, you were talking there about the benefits of exercise, and you're right. The majority of people who would engage with a personal trainer, as I previously said, would be because they've got a specific event in mind. The next thing is they want to tone up, which is a bit of a loose term, or lose weight. Now, in terms of benefits of exercise, losing weight is actually about number 7 of your top 10, behind creating the endorphins that you touched on earlier, getting better sleep, improving your strength, improving your endurance, improving your health in terms of your bone density, improving your cholesterol, your heart rate, your resting heart rate. All of those kind of things are a benefit of exercise. And again, you're right, it's about finding what works for you. To a lot of people, going into a gym is quite an overwhelming experience, especially if they're starting from scratch. You know, all they see is all these people that know exactly what they're doing, or that's their perception when they walk in. I'm going to feel stupid. I'm going to be the fat one at the back of the class. I'm not going to know what to do. And we try and break down those barriers. I mean, you obviously, you've been into my gym, and it is a personal training studio where it's typically only you and your trainer. The other trainers potentially could be in there. There's a handful of them, but they're concentrating on their clients, and their clients are listening to what they say. And I hope, I'm sure you have, but all you found is support from the interaction with the other trainers and the interaction with the other people in the gym that are on the same journey as you. So, you know, it is about finding what you enjoy. There's obviously, from our point of view, working with your contraindications, so working with any issues that you might have, any ongoing injuries, anything you don't like, anything that you really do enjoy doing. There's going to be things that are beneficial to you that you don't like burpees. Nobody likes burpees. But in terms of the exercise, from my point of view, it is about making an experience that you want to continue, that you want to carry on. But it's very important that it doesn't become a chore. Mm. It's very important that it forms a fundamental part of your life, as much as putting on your pants in the morning. It's just something that you do. And with that then comes a whole plethora of positivity and benefits that you can get. And again, it forms part of this understanding yourself. I don't want to be in a group class environment. Why don't you want to be in a group class environment? Oh, well, there's a couple of people in there that are just a bit mouthy, a bit this, that, and the other. Why might that be? What do you know about them? How do you understand them? And again, going back to the DISC profile enables you to work out why you can't interact with certain people or why you can interact with certain people. And although you can't change other people, you can certainly change yourself. Yeah. So that, you know, is a very key part of your journey. From a positivity point of view, the benefits of exercise are that you start to feel better about your appearance. You start to look good, which then radiates across everything else that you do. You know, you start to, I mean, how many times, Sue, have we had this conversation about the clothes that you've bought or the things that you've been looking at or the pictures that you've sent me because you've got an outfit you never thought you were going to wear? So once you start your journey, these things start to shake out. We create a lifestyle. It isn't a quick fix. It's about making small changes over a long period of time. There is no magic pill to help you to feel complete and to feel better about what you're doing and yourself. You mentioned accountability. Having an appointment with somebody makes you go and do it. If you have a gym or there's a class on at a certain time, you wake up feeling a little bit out of sorts, or do you know what, I'll just not bother. But having to tell somebody you're cancelling and why is that little bit harder. I had a client yesterday and she's been struggling with injuries. She's working from home. Her motivation is quite low. And I texted her just to confirm our session. And she came back and she said, I don't want to, but I will. And I said, look, it's fine. If you just want to chat, we'll just chat. And she said, no, I'm going to make myself do it. So we did. And she messaged me when she'd done it. And it was like, I'm so glad I did that. I feel so much better. Mm. So the biggest barrier is your mind. Mm. Once you've opened your mind, everything else will follow through, which is why it forms such a key part of what we do. You know, you mentioned briefly as well, we communicate. You have that conversation with your hairdresser where they're behind you in the mirror and it's like, you're going to wear nice on holiday. The very nature of the term personal means that you exchange things because you're likely to talk about all your hang-ups. I don't like my love handles, my boobs droop, you know, and you create that connection because you're bearing your soul almost, aren't you? To get to where you want to be with that journey and enable you to be the best version of yourself. So I provide you with that level of accountability. Yes, I will make you exercise to get you fitter, to get you stronger, to get you healthy, but also provide that accountability that you need to enable you to adhere to the food side of things, which is very, very important, but also be that sounding board and that connection for the mental aspects, whatever that may be. You and I have had a particularly strong journey because of the circumstances of our meeting. The accident that your husband was in was between our first meeting and our first session. So it really was the very beginning of that journey for you. And that could have gone one or two ways, really, couldn't it, if you think about it? But for us, it was an incredibly positive feeling that we were able to carry through our continuous journey. As you've also said, it isn't a straight line down. It doesn't just, right, I've engaged with a personal trainer, I'm going to drop 6 stone and I'm going to look amazing. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that, because there are times in your life where you go through things that food, alcohol becomes a prop. There are times you go through things, whether it's an injury, where your exercise is the last thing on your mind. And whilst I won't put any pressure on you, there is a benefit in getting back on that horse and maintaining some level of movement to get you through those times.
Movement has always been the catalyst for me, because it's like the top of the tree, and everything else just then works. So if I'm moving well, I'm feeling good mentally about myself, then I'm eating better, I'm making better choices, and I'm giving better. I'm feeling better about myself, so I'm giving better to other people.
Yeah, the choices is quite key. They are yours to make, aren't they? So.
And other people do this, don't they? You've tried to do it from the bottom, so other people might say, do you know what, I will exercise, but I want to lose 2 stone first. Do you know what I mean? It's like the chicken egg. Which one is it? And for me, if anything, the message that we want to give here is just start.
Just get started. Absolutely.
Just start.
Absolutely.
And don't beat yourself up that you're not there yet. Just start and do something that you love. Do something that brings you joy. Like today, you know what brought me joy? At the weekend, I bought some new socks from M&S, and there was some socks that were like the normal ones, black with a pink toe, and then I saw Dalmatian socks, right?
Right.
And I went, do you know what? I'm going to buy those Dalmatian socks, because every morning when I put them on, it's going to bring a smile to my face.
Yeah.
And I put them on this morning, and it brought a smile to my face. I don't know why I told you that story, but it's all about...
That's what it's about, isn't it? That's what it's about. So it is about finding what you enjoy. You won't know that until you get started. No. And it might be that you start with wherever you are on your journey, but the tangents that you then go off to become involved in netball. I've had people go on to paddle boarding. It's just, the world is your oyster. Just get started.
Yeah, and that's what I even though we met at the worst time of my life, you can't change, I'm always thinking about possibilities. Everything's an opportunity, everything's a possibility.
Absolutely that.
So we're coming to the end now, and Sarah and I just wanted to share our stories with you, because if we can just share our stories and our experiences, and it just ignites something within you, if it resonates with you and it just inspires you to start, then that's all we want, isn't it really, Sarah? That's all we want.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, Sarah. And we're going to be talking again, because this session was all about getting started, and that's brilliant. And the next session, the next podcast is all going to be about how to keep going, because starting's brilliant, but then how do we keep going?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.